Ahoy cruise enthusiasts, it's time to talk about the latest drama in cruising. I think we'll get to Disney eventually, but I'm sure you have all heard of the controversy around Carnival Legends rescheduling, or not really rescheduling, but rerouting of their sailing from Greenland to the Canadian Maritimes. And, okay, here's the thing. It happens, but this has happened to me almost a couple times to the point where I will not be booking a cruise to a bucket list destination because with very few exceptions, it's kind of risky and I'd rather just deal with it myself. So yeah, I get it. So last year, well, let me just explain. Last year, I had two cruises booked, both on Norwegian. And one was Norwegian Dawn in the Baltic with an overnight in St. Petersburg. Okay, that sounded awesome. Then, of course, Joe Biden gets elected. Putin thinks now's his chance, invades, and St. Petersburg is canceled. Thank you, Democrats. Which made the whole point of the cruise kind of pointless in a way, because, I mean, I have other reasons to visit the Baltic, and yeah. And the second one was also on Norwegian. I think it was Norwegian Star, and it was, coincidentally, a Greenland cruise from Iceland, and due to weather, it was announced to the guests that they would be switching out Greenland for Norway, I think on the day of embarkation. I was booked on that cruise, and after the whole drama with the Baltic, I decided to cancel that, and honestly, I'm glad I did. So I skirted this twice, but yeah, I almost felt the pain of what the people on Carnival Legend are feeling right now. So the destination has changed. Now, the cruise line can rely on their terms of service to say they don't actually guarantee transport to any particular destination, which is technically true. The problem, though, is the cruise lines are treating this, or when this happens, they do treat it as if these itineraries are interchangeable with other more common itineraries, like the Maritimes, and they're not. Now, there are itineraries and there are regions full of essentially interchangeable cruise itineraries. Let's be honest. Anything in the Caribbean is interchangeable. Western, Eastern, Southern, even some of those cruises to the Lesser Antilles, they happen regularly enough to where if that cruise is canceled because of weather or whatever, it's not a big deal. You can probably just try the next month or the next year. So, keep that in mind. And it's really the same situation with, at this point, Norway, Alaska, and, well, even the Canadian Maritimes, to be honest. I would also include Bermuda in this category now. At maybe 15 years ago, a Bermuda sailing was kind of a special thing, but now ships from Baltimore go to Bermuda regularly. So, yeah, they're all interchangeable. In fact, I would say any of these destinations, the Maritimes, Bermuda, the Caribbean, are interchangeable within themselves. So, I think, was it Disney Fantasy swapped out the Caribbean for Bermuda because of the hurricane? Yeah, that's totally fine. But some of these cruise itineraries are viewed as bucket list cruises for a lot of people, meaning they're not just cruising that happens to go to these places. They are taking this particular cruise for this particular destination because this is, in a lot of ways, the easiest way to experience these destinations. And, the popular ones right now, well, Greenland, is in that category. I would say Iceland, in a lot of ways, is in that category. The Falklands is in that category. And some islands in the South Pacific are in this sort of like special category where they are not incidental to the cruise. They are the reason for the cruise. So when these itinerary changes just kind of happen randomly, it's really a bad look for the cruise lines to just like throw their hands up and be like, oh, well, whatever, you get to go to St. Thomas. No. Greenland. We wanted to go to Greenland. So be very wary of booking these bucket list destinations on cruises, and just understand that you can pay a lot of money for these destinations, but you might not make it. And that actually, I think, is everyone's biggest problem. It's not that they don't get to go to Greenland. It's for me. It's not that I wouldn't be going to Greenland. It's that I would have paid a lot of extra money to go to Greenland, and then we're not going to Greenland. Now, I guess Carnival is giving everybody a $400 in non-refundable onboard credit. Yeah, no. What am I going to do? Buy a watch? Yeah, what am I going to do with a watch? Right? That just doesn't really cut it. But there is a solution to this. And see, that's why you watch me. I don't just bring you the news, right? I talk about things that interest me. I also provide solutions. I give you my opinion, and as a bonus, I give you the correct opinion on situations. So, what could the cruise lines do to mitigate the drama around this? Before marketing the cruise, put the bean counters to work and have them price out several different itineraries for the ship. One includes the bucket list destination, and the others include just some random milk run. So for this 14-day sailing of Carnival Legend, they look at this and they say, okay, how much would people pay to go to Greenland? But let's also figure out how much people would pay to go to, the Eastern Caribbean or the Canadian Maritimes. I suspect that price point would be lower than Greenland, simply because, well, the Caribbean and the Maritimes are more accessible and there's more competition. So you're not going to pay a Greenland premium to go to Nova Scotia. This brings, well, I don't know, call it whatever you want. Call it the bucket list guarantee. But when they advertise this cruise, they say, once in a lifetime cruise to Greenland. But then right below it, not anything huge, but says, okay, well, bucket list guarantee. If we don't make it to Greenland, well, this is what you get, right? So let's say the Greenland sailing prices out at $2,000 a person, okay? Perfect. And a sailing to Nova Scotia or a sailing to St. Thomas only prices out at $1,000 a person because, well, there's lots of more sailings to those places and there's lots more competition, so that's just how it works. Okay, well, that means there's a $1,000 premium to go to Greenland. That is why people are upset, okay? Not necessarily that they spend 2 weeks on a cruise ship, that would be fine with that, but the $1,000 premium for where you're not going. Okay, so the bucket list guarantee, if we do not make it to Greenland, you either get a $1,000 refund straight away, no questions asked, that's it. And by the way, that would be all you get, no OBC, nothing like that, or a 200% future cruise credit. So you either get $1,000 back or a $2,000 future cruise credit. That is the bucket list guarantee. I think that would go a long way with making people feel more comfortable at booking this because, everyone's talking about this now, and I guarantee in the future when people say, oh, let's book the Greenland cruise, first question they're going to ask is, well, what if the ship doesn't go to Greenland? Then what? Are we just going to get $400 OBC after paying this giant premium to go to Greenland and then going to Nova Scotia? Nova Scotia is certainly beautiful. I think I'll be there pretty soon. Wait, or have I been there? You know what? I actually don't know. Doesn't matter. It's not Greenland. Well, there you go, cruise lines. That is a way out of this little predicament that you seem to be getting yourself into. I know. This is not Carnival's fault, okay? I don't care what anyone else says. They're wrong. They don't control the weather. Well, you all know who controls the weather, but Carnival Cruise Line does not control the weather, so this is just the way it is. Oh, and it's mostly because the ports in Greenland, there are tender ports, and yeah, you don't want to be tendering in that kind of weather, so that's fine. So anyway, like I said, I will no longer be booking cruises for bucket list destinations with, I think, 2 exceptions. Maybe we'll talk about sometime, or maybe I'll just show up there and surprise everybody. And, well, you know what? If you want to see my bucket list destination, maybe you'll be on that cruise, and I hope to see you on board.